This is a good essay to study. It does mention those who study English and how difficult it is. Maybe you'll get the message when you read it. One of the important things I want to point out about English, and I keep pointing this out just so you begin to understand that English is a rhythmic language, meaning it goes up and down, it emphasizes certain words, diminishes certain words. It's also in the sentences and in the words. Listen for that and try to imitate how I read this. I have words here that are in red, and the reason I put them in red because I think they're probably words you will not find easy to understand. They're more or less in the idiomatic form, meaning they don't say exactly what they mean. I mean, you can't take them literally, and you have to interpret what their meaning is. And they're interpreted in their context. Okay? I will now read this essay. When I speak, write, or read my language, English, I feel at home. The words make me feel comfortable, or at least most of them do. There are those too exotic for my taste that I treat with respect, but when I see them coming, I avert my eyes. They are too splendid. I make a mental note to look them up in a good dictionary. You never know when someone will ask me what they mean one day. Others, on the other hand, have that welcoming look. They are eager to be used. They are like dogs, wagging their tails at me and begging for a chance to be taken for a walk. Then there are times when a word escapes me. I know it in my head, but it won't reveal itself. I'll have to make do with another, and there's bound to be another coming along. It's like waiting for a bus at a bus stop in the center of London. A bright, red, shiny one will drive along any minute. It might not be just the one I wanted, but it'll take me on a journey anyhow. And there is so much to choose from. When the Romans were busy educating the important people in English and teaching them Latin, and then some 100 years later when the Norman French were teaching the important people's descendants French, the peasants were eavesdropping and picking up the odd Latin or French crumb. They hadn't a clue what they meant, but they liked the sound of them. They sound foreign, they told their children. You remember that one. It'll come in useful one day. And it did when English started to wake up. It didn't know where to turn. It had a veritable host of words to choose from, and they all had to be used in a particular way. Use it in the wrong way, and you commit a faux pas. Now there's a couple of foreign words for you. You could also say you made a blunder, and that word is from Middle English, but even then it probably came from somewhere in Scandinavia. There is such a heritage that choosing the right word is difficult even when it's your native language. Although I can never aspire to reach the heights, scale the mountains, climb the hills, I'll stop there. I sometimes dream a bit and try and ape my betters. If I'm feeling really imaginative, I'll momentarily become a mini Shakespeare. If Latin happens to suit my mood, I'll try and be a John Milton. But I have to admit that it's rare. When I want to go to town with descriptive enthusiasm, I'll play the role of Charles Dickens. And if the sun's shining and I'm feeling a good mood, I'll fall under the influence of my good friend P.G. Wodehouse. But I should forget that I'm being transatlantic. I can chance my arm and dip into American English and have a nice day. But of course it's quite different for you learners of English. They don't have the advantage I have. They have to learn from the beginning, from scratch. The odd English word may well have popped up now and then again before their eyes, but it's a different kettle of fish. When it actually comes down to writing and speaking English, this is where I invite you to come into this language pool called English. You don't have to dive in. You can paddle on the edges and see how you go. Soon you'll start wading, and before you know where you are, you'll be borne up by the sheer force of the water. Don't worry, there are no pirates here that will gobble you up. You might meet the occasional whale, but if you don't bother them, they won't bother you. One day, you might feel like having a chat with one of them, but leave it for later. You will bump into a very lively and colorful bunch of fish that call themselves idioms. They're a bit slippery, and you won't always find them to your taste. Sample one. You never know, you might like it. One variety that you'll see a lot of, and they really irritate you, I'm sure, are the fish that they go by the name of the preposition. They lead you a dance, but approach them with caution. Watch them at work and try to work out what it is they are doing. You'll soon figure it out, and before long you're bound to follow what they are up to. So come on in. The water's lovely, it's not too cold, honestly. We'll make sure on this site that you won't drown, and before you know what's hit you, you'll be swimming like a fish. Now I will go back over this and explain the words in red. I feel at home. I feel at home essentially means I'm comfortable. Okay, I don't feel strange to speak, write, and read my language of English, okay? The next, for my taste. Well, it means that which I prefer. And they're too exotic for my taste. I think they are beyond my knowledge, so I will say for my taste. I don't like them. To avert my eyes. Well, avert my eyes means I look away. I don't want to look at those words. Okay, I look away to avoid seeing them. I make a mental note. Well, it simply means like any other note that you sort of make a internal note to remember this. Okay, make a mental note. I want to remember to look this up. Okay. On the other hand means my other choice. You know, wagging their tails. Well, you know dogs have a tail, which I think is at the back end of the dog. You often see it wagging, meaning it's moving back and forth to show you that it's more or less being friendly. Word escapes me, meaning I don't remember. I don't remember at this moment. To make do means, well, whatever I have, I'll use it. Whatever I remember, whatever I have, I'll use it. Coming along. Coming along means something will appear. Another word will come to my memory. So it will come along, coming along. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping is when you secretly listen to another's conversation without them knowing it. Crumb. Well, that's a bit of something. That is, what remained, like breadcrumbs, something that's a little piece of something. Or in this case, something that's left over, something that's not given much attention. Having a clue. Okay. Having a clue means they don't understand. It says they haven't a clue what they meant, they just don't understand. Okay, a veritable host. Well, what it means is a great quantity. And a host is somebody who is there to take care of, like a host of a party, this is a host of words, something that is taking care of a bunch of words. Commit a faux pas. Well, that's French, and it means the same thing as this. Make a blunder, and the blunder is to make a mistake, to commit an error. Ape my betters. Well, ape means to copy, to copy those who know better than I do, who know more than I do. So you ape them, you try to copy them. Fall under the influence. Well, we know what influence is, but to fall under means to be dominated by somebody or something. To fall under, to be dominated by the influence of my good friend P.G. Wodehouse. Okay, I admire him, and he dominates my thinking in this particular case. From scratch. Well, scratch means from knowing nothing, from zero knowledge. Pop up means to appear. A kettle of fish, well, it means a group of something. It's a kettle of fish. It's more or less a grouping of something. Gobble you up. Here they will gobble you up. Gobble you up means that it will entirely occupy you. Make it your whole thing. There's no pariahs that will gobble you up. In this case, it means that will eat you. A chat. Well, of course, we know what a chat is. That's when you have a conversation with somebody. Bump into. That more or less means you encounter. You encounter something. Now, I will encounter a very lively, colorful bunch of fish. A bit slippery, meaning it's something hard to hold on to. You know, it's not, in this case, a bit slippery. You won't always find them to your taste, meaning that, you know, it's difficult to hold on to something that, in this particular case, to choose something. You will bump into, I think I've already supplied that. They lead you a dance. Lead you a dance is that they essentially will confuse you, but approach them with caution. And you'll soon figure it out. You'll soon begin to understand them. And they are to know what they are up to. Up to here means what they are doing. And so come on means enter into the water, okay, and know what hits you. Hits you means something that you encountered. You'll be swimming, you know what hits you, what you encounter. This is one additional sheet that I have. I will send it to you if you request it. The first time around, I will send everybody this link. And this link is a link with a translation. Now, there's two reasons I want to do that. I think this is a good translation. And you can read this and, again, look at the words that were in red, or just read it and get the general sense and the idea of this essay. Also, I would like for you, I'm going to give you the ability to edit. I would like for you to go over the Spanish, and if you find mistakes, words that don't match the English and their meaning, I would like for you to edit that and email it to me. Okay, so this way I think all total you will end up with a good understanding of this essay, and I'm sure your English will be made better.